Welcome back to the lodge, shop, whatever we want to call it this week. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in western Pennsylvania, and I've been working my butt off all weekend long. Yeah, just everything's broke. None of my stuff's broke. That's a lie. Everything of mine is broke, but I don't get paid to work on my own stuff, so I'm tired. But one does not do something on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. And sometimes you just need a little zen in your life. And, there's not much else that is relaxing as cleaning up your trusty steed. And just a random vlog here. I'm going to show you what products I'm using. And I've never used these specific products before, so I'm excited to do a little review on them. And just pretty it up a little bit here. So my trusty steed. I mean, this bike has been the best purchase. Words are complicated. You got Toby, the shop dog. This has been the best bike I've ever owned. I've owned about a dozen motorcycles, from Harleys and Japanese cruisers and a couple sports bikes, and I've owned this bike for the better part of a decade now. And it's been about everywhere. It's never complained. And it is an extremely comfortable ride. And it's about the only vehicle in the fleet here that I actually take religious care of. I bought this unit, probably about a decade ago. And I had just sold my Harley, and in the fall of that year, and come springtime, I was itching for another bike, and I just didn't know what I wanted to get. I did a bunch of research. Adventure touring. Hold on. My boy here is just shedding like a fiend. I have dog hair everywhere now, but he's happy. Yeah, you like the scratches? Yeah, you like the scratches? Anyways, I knew I wanted to get into. Jesus, dog hair. I wanted to get into adventure touring, and I knew that I wasn't going to do. Toby, over here. Toby. I knew that I was going to do 80% on road with light off road. So, like fire roads, dirt roads, that kind of thing. So, I wanted to buy a bike specifically for the application that I was riding. Did a ton of research, had it narrowed down to a couple different bikes, and it was like between a BMW 800 something and a Suzuki Vstrom 650. And I had specific requirements that I needed to meet for me to purchase this bike. The Vstrom had to be orange. It had to be under 5,000 miles, under $5,000. And turns out that was a pretty tall ask at the time. These bikes weren't going for too awfully much at the time, and I searched everywhere. I got on Cycle Trader, and I could find the color. No ABS. That was the other one. I could find the color, but not the miles or the price, or if it couldn't check every box, I wasn't going to buy it. And I was getting frustrated because I was searching nationwide on Cycle Trader, and I was working at a different place at the time, and they had a little dealership down there. And I decided just to pop in one day. And, the salesman was trying to sell me on a new bike. I didn't want a new one. I didn't want the new one. And he's like, well, we just got this other one in on consignment, last night. Hasn't ran through the shop yet. Do you want to go look at it? And I told the feller, well, I'm here. I might as well go look at it. We go down to the service bay, and I turn the corner, and there she sat. Now, it didn't have the boxes, the crash bar, all the accessories I've added, but it was bone stock, 2009 orange Vstrom 650 with 1,100 miles on it. That's it. That's the one. Well, it's got to go through the inspection process. I'm like, it's got 1,100 miles on it, man. It still has the factory tires. Ain't nothing wrong with it. And at the time, I paid probably about $1,200 over market value, but I didn't care. I It's what I wanted, and I've nicknamed this bike V, um, which is funny for those of you in the Vstrom community, because we have the Wstrom, which is a 650, and the Vstrom, which is the 1000, and I named my 650 V. But anyways, it was perfect. It was love at first sight, and I have since added my crash bars. I got just a basic skid plate. I got solo box Gen 1 hard panniers on it. Eric up in Washington State builds these, and they're handmade in the United States for a very fair price. And I love them. I love them so much that I bought them for another bike that I have. Support your local businesses. A few other odds and ends that I had added to it. I got a sergeant seat, and then I got bar risers. They come an inch up and an inch back. Also have a slightly taller windscreen. It's still the OEM geometry, but it's just a inch or so taller just to get it over my helmet, which worked out really well. I've also added a Diode Dynamics 6-inch light bar to the front. I was doing a lot of night riding at the time, working the shift that I was working on, and they'll bury me on this bike. I will never sell it. I will never get rid of it. Uh, the day that it needs to be retired, which if you know Vstrom, they never die, is what I'm saying. These V twins run forever, and I religiously maintain this bike. If you watch some of our other videos on some of the stuff we work on, good enough is good enough. Good enough is not good enough on this particular unit. Um, I don't have as many miles on it as I'd like. It's just turned 20,000 miles, and that was mainly due to I had some health issues for a while, and there was a couple years I wasn't able to put more than a couple hundred miles on it. Um, but I like doing long trips. So a lot of the miles that are on it were 3,000-4,000 mile trips done in a couple weeks, and then it would sit in the shed for a while. And I actually love this 650 so much that I bought a second one this year. I purchased a 2019 Vstrom 650. This one's actually for my wife, and there's just, if you're on the fence for a good all around Swiss Army knife of a bike. Sport touring, adventure touring, get on it, ride across the country. I highly recommend looking into the Vstroms. And it's not because they have all of the fancy features. It has none of the fancy features. No cruise control, no analog brakes, none of that. But it has a fantastic riding position. The ergonomics are amazing. And an engine that Suzuki is just entering their 27th year of building this engine through various generations and variants. You don't build an engine that long if it wasn't reliable. Um, every spring, I clean it up. And I go through and I wipe everything down and make it look nice and spiff. And when it's done, it looks like a damn near brand new bike, not a bike that's nearing 15, 16 years old. So let me show you some of the products that we're trying today. So when you're walking down the auto care aisle at the Wally World, you'll see Jay Leno's Garage branded detailer. Now I got the rinseless, basically the rinseless wash with a heavy duty wheel cleaner and some ceramic detailer. I've always wanted an excuse to use these. I'm a big fan of Jay Leno and everything that he does. Lighting in here sucks. There we go. I'm a big fan of Jay Leno, and I want to support him. And I believe Adams is the one that's doing the packaging for his products. So let's give him a try. See what happens. So we'll do some before and afters here. You know, these wheels get kicked up with dust and dirt, and the same with the swing arm. They get pretty corroded up. The plastics I keep pretty nice. The paint I also keep pretty nice. There's a little bit of water spots on it. Same with the frame and the engine. I don't usually care too much about the skid plate. You know, all the dirt and stuff that gets flung up on it. Same with the back part of this fender. I'll just clean up the dirt, but I usually don't care how that looks. But as you can see with the front tire, it does the same thing. It just gets all dirted up. So let's clean them up and see how these products work. What you think, Tobadiah? Did you like the wheel cleaner? Did you? You're not saying anything. I like the wheel cleaner. I gotta say, it took the grime right off the wheels. It just wiped right off, sprayed on there, let it soak a little bit, like it was nothing. I'm sure some of you professional detailers will be looking at this video and scoffing at my ignorance, and that's fine. I really don't care. Um, let's get you down here and check out the results. I mean, it took the dirt right off the swing arm, right off the rims. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with that. So, the next thing I'm going to try out here is the rinseless wash and gloss. No hose, no rinse, no mess. Wash Anywhere, anytime. Safe on paint, tough on dirt. Leaves behind a serious shine. Most importantly, made in the US of A. Developed in Jay's own garage. I don't know if it's marketing wank or not, but we'll spray the rest of it down and see how it looks. Yeah, I'm fairly impressed with it. I think it did a pretty decent job. Now that's just knocking any of the dust and dirt off, which, I mean, she was a little dirty. Cleaned some things on the engine that had a little bit of oil on it, and it cut right through it. Uh, get you down here. I mean, it took all the dirt off the backside of this fender pretty easy. Now, I sprayed it on there and let it soak and kind of lift that dirt off the paint a little bit before I, just took a microfiber to it. But it worked pretty well. Let's see if I can get you a little bit of a live action on this. So, the backside of these panniers here, they always get dirt. Now, my finger's a little wet, but I mean it's coming off a little bit. Just spray it on here. And just give her a nice scrub. I will say that it takes a bit for this to flash off, but it doesn't seem to leave streaks. So it doesn't like immediately evaporate. You can see it kind of starting to evaporate there a little bit. And this is just crap on the pannier to begin with. But yeah, even down here, like, let's do that. Yeah, that's cleaning that right up pretty easily. So I'm happy with that. It smells really good too. You know, clean all the dirt and crap off the rear here. This thing just gets so dusty. Because I'm not doing on paint. I really don't care the condition of the microfiber at this point. I'm just knocking dirt off. The only time I really use a new micro is on the paint itself. But like, you can see how dirty this is compared to how this looks now. I mean, it did a really nice job taking that off of there. Just getting all the dirt. So I'm not going to make you watch that whole thing. I think you get the idea at this point. Yeah, Rinseless Plus Wash and Gloss Jay Leno. I've used a couple different brands of this idea in the past, and I think this one's probably worked the best. I've been pretty happy with the results of this. This will probably stay in the box in the side box there, just to keep it cleaned up on the road. I'm reading the other one here. So like the the heavy duty wheel cleaner here deep cleans wheels and tires, removes brake dust and grime, eliminates rubber browning, and powerful foaming action. I did like how it foamed up. It really covered the wheel nicely. It didn't just run off and fuck off in every direction. Was pretty happy with this. You know, like with any wheel cleaner, you can't let that crap dry on anything. It is a mild acid, basically, or a very heavy solvent that will stain paint and that kind of crap. So you got to get that off of there. Um, so yeah, I got a lot of cleaning to do here before I do the ceramic detailer, but I'm pretty happy with it. Um, if you're through, here's the best thing about all of this: when you're walking through the Wally World aisles, it's $10 a bottle. It, it's it's reasonably priced for what I feel the quality of product you're getting. So I'd buy this again, and I'd recommend you guys checking it out. So I got another couple hours worth of work here cleaning this up. Um, Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next video.